Hi again, this is Bonnie Barker with BonnieBayCrochet.com, and you have come to video number 2 of the Aran Hearts Throw. Okay, before we get started on this, I mentioned at the end of the last video about changing to a larger hook size. You need to change up to a size K. It's also a 10.5 or 6.50 millimeter crochet hook, or whichever one you've chosen to use if you decided that your gauge was too small or large or whatever. So it's the largest hook of the 3 hooks that we'll be working with now. So what we're going to do to start this, okay, we should have their front side facing. I just chained 1, and the directions say to single crochet in the first stitch. Let's go ahead and do that. Single crochet in the first stitch. Okay, now it says to chain 1, skip the next stitch, and work a popcorn in the next stitch. Okay, so we're going to skip this stitch and we're going to work a popcorn. The popcorn, the way I do them for this particular pattern, is you're going to single crochet 4 times in the same space. Okay, just like so. Now this is the tricky part, if there is a tricky part. Okay, we're going to let that loop be up higher, and we're going to go back to the very first single crochet of this cluster. We're going to put our stitch in here. Then we're going to grab the loop, pull it through like so, and bring the loop back. Don't leave it real big. Bring it back to the size of the diameter of your hook, and chain 1 to close off the popcorn. Now we're going to skip the next stitch, and then we're going to single crochet in the next stitch. We're going to chain 1, and I'm just checking with the pattern, and they're going to repeat from the asterisk, which says to chain 1 like we just did. Skip the next stitch here, and then do another popcorn in the next stitch, which is 4 single crochets like so. Whoops. It's 3, 4. Pull it up a loop a little bit. Stick your hook in the very first single crochet of the cluster, and then pull that loop through, chain 1, skip the next stitch, single crochet, chain 1, skip the next crochet, single crochet, and then do another popcorn 1, which is 4, 2, 3, 4, and pull up a loop, stick your hook in the first popcorn of the cluster. Okay, take the loop that you just pulled, just bring it on through, chain 1, skip the next stitch, and then single crochet in the next. Let me stop and show you what I've done. So every other stitch is the one that you're going to be crocheting in. So you're going to do this all the way across. Let me do it just a couple more because I know this is tricky. Chain 1, skip the next stitch, 4 single crochets in one place in the next stitch here. Pull up a loop, insert your hook into the first of the 4 stitches, and then hook this loop, pull it through, chain 1. Okay, and then, oops, before I do that, skip the next stitch, and then single crochet. So I'm going to go ahead and do this all the way across my row. I will come back to you when I'm finished, and I'll show you the ending of this row. Okay, I've come all the way across with my popcorn stitch. This is row number 10, and I'm going to skip this stitch, continuing with the repeat here, and then it says simply to single crochet in the last stitch, just like so. We do not single crochet in the turning chain here. Okay, now we're ready to start row 11. I'm going to chain 1, turn, and it says to single crochet in the first stitch. We can do that. And the next thing it says is chain 1. Okay, skip the next stitch. We're going to single crochet in the next chain 1 space, which happens to be the very top of the popcorn itself. Okay, then we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to single crochet in the next chain 1 space, which is the space right here. I can feel it right there. It's the chain 1 that we would make after the single crochet. Okay, and chain 1 again, skip the next stitch, and we're going to single crochet in the top of the next popcorn. Chain 1, single crochet in the chain 1 space right here. We skip this stitch. Okay, chain 1, skip the single crochet, and single crochet in the top of the popcorn, just like so. Chain 1, skip the next stitch, or let me just verify that. Okay, chain 1, and then we single crochet in the next chain 1 space there. Chain 1, skip the single crochet, single crochet in the top. Okay, we're going to do that all the way across. I'll just take it across and then show you what it looks like afterwards. Okay, I've worked this all the way across, and you get to the last stitch, and then you simply single crochet in the last stitch. Okay, now we're ready to start row number 12. This is another popcorn row. Chain 1, turn, and you can see what we've done here. So what's going to happen here, the popcorns are going to be alternating. They're going to be falling in between the other popcorn stitches that we did. Okay, so row 12 says single crochet in the first single crochet. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, then it says to chain 1, skip next stitch, and single crochet in the next chain 1 space. So we're going to skip this stitch, and we're going to single crochet here. Okay, now it says to chain 1, skip next stitch here, and then we're going to do a popcorn in the next chain 1 space, which is right there. So it'll be 4 single crochet, pull up a loop, stick our hook in the first of the 4 stitch cluster, grab that loop, pull it through, and chain 1. Okay, having some yarn trouble here. So after we chained 1, we're going to skip the next stitch, and we're going to single crochet in the chain 1 space. We're going to chain 1, skip the next stitch, and we're going to do a popcorn in the next stitch. Pull up a loop, stick our hook in first of the 4 cluster, hook the loop, pull it through, do a chain 1 on top, skip the next stitch, single crochet in the chain 1 space, chain 1, and I'll do one more popcorn and I'll show you how this is coming together. Okay. And I'll go ahead and single crochet there and pull up the loop. Just wanted to show you how these stitches are alternating back and forth, back and forth. Okay, I'm going to finish this row and then I'll show you how to end this. Okay, now we've come to the end of the row. We've got 1 chain 1 space left. I'm going to go ahead and work the 4 single crochets for the popcorn. Pull up a loop and pull the loop through the first stitch, chain 1, and then I'm just going to simply work a single crochet in the last stitch like so. Okay, now we're going to chain 1, and for row number 13 we are simply going to repeat row 11, which is you're going to single crochet in the first stitch, single crochet, there you go, in the top of that chain 1, which is the top of the popcorn stitch. Then we're going to chain 1, we're going to single crochet in the chain 1 space, chain 1, skip the single crochet, and single crochet in the top of the chain 1, which is the top of the popcorn. Chain 1, single crochet in the chain 1 space, chain 1, skip the single crochet, and chain 1 in the top of the popcorn stitch. So we're going to work that, which is the same as row 11, all the way across. As soon as I finish that, I'll come back and show you the ending of this row. Okay, I'm at the end of the row here. I've chained 1, going to skip this last single crochet in the chain 1 space, and then I'm just simply going to single crochet in the last single crochet there. Okay, now I'm going to chain 1, turn. Okay, we just completed rows 10, 11, 12, and 13. Okay, so row 14, I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to single crochet in the first stitch, chain 1, skip the next stitch here. Then I'm going to popcorn in the next chain 1 space. 1, 2, let's try that again. 3, 4. Pull up a loop, and we're going to pull that loop through the first stitch. Okay, you know what? I don't like that, so I'm going to pull that out. You know, if you ever don't like the way things look, you can always just kind of pull them back out and give it another try. There seem to be a lot of strands, individual strands showing. I just didn't like the way that looked. Okay, that does look better. I do like that better. Okay, now we're going to skip this stitch, and we're going to single crochet in the next stitch. And this row is almost exactly like row number 10. Okay, so for the next we're going to skip this stitch. We're going to do a popcorn stitch. Okay, and so on. Skip the next stitch, single crochet in that chain space. Let me just show you how this is going. Okay, so whenever you do the popcorn stitch with the front side facing, the popcorn should be in between the other popcorns of the previous row, just like so, very symmetrical. Okay, so I'm going to complete that. That is row 14. It's completed in the same way as row number 10. And then after that, you're going to repeat rows 11 through 14 2 times. Okay, so you're going to do rows 11, 12, 13, 14 twice. So that's going to give you 4 more rows, or 4 more rows that have the popcorn in them. It'll be a total of 8 crocheted rows, because the rows in between do not have the popcorn, but more they're crocheting the spaces for the popcorn, if that makes sense. And then after you do that, you're going to repeat rows 11 and 12 one more time. So that's going to give you, 4. So when we finish this, you should be able to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You should be able to count 8 rows that have the popcorn in them, if that makes sense. Okay, so why don't you go ahead and work on that, and I will come back after I've completed all those extra popcorn rows, and I'll show you what I have. I'll show you how to finish this out on this section. Okay, welcome back. We have completed now rows number 10 through 24, working the popcorn stitch. And let me go ahead and show you these rows. So row 1 was with the popcorn. I'm sorry, row 10. And then the stitch with the popcorn on the opposite side, where you did the single crochet, chain 1 single crochet, that is row 11. Then 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. If you could see that. So I like to kind of keep track of this in a better way than just counting those bulky numbers. I like to just count popcorn rows. So just know that you're going to need 8 rows with the popcorn so we can easily count those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that'll come in helpful to you when you do the rest of the Afghan once you pass the center motif with the popcorn hearts. Okay, now one very, very important thing I don't want to neglect to tell you. We've been using the size K hook. All right, well now we're going to change back to the size J hook. Okay, it's a little bit smaller hook because the stitches that we've been working needed the larger hook because they tend to pull. Well, the next row of single crochet, as you remember, tends to curl if you aren't careful. So we're changing to the smaller hook to work this row. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is single crochet in the first single crochet, and then we're going to work 2 single crochets in each chain 1 space across. So 2 single crochets in the top of the popcorn, 2 single crochets in the chain 1 space between the popcorn stitches, 2 single crochets in the top here, and 2 single crochets between them. So I'm going to do this all the way across, and this should give us bring us back to our 182 stitches per row. Okay, I will finish this row and come back to you. I want to show you the last 3 stitches of this row. So this is the last chain 1 stitch. We're going to put 2 stitches there. Actually, there's one more chain 1 stitch, 2 stitches there, and then we're going to put 1 stitch in the last single crochet. Okay, all right, now let me show you what we have so far. Okay, we have our low front ridge stitches, our rows of arrow stitch, and 2 rows of single crochet, low front ridge, and then we have our rows of popcorn, which are 8 popcorn across. Of course, many more rows than that. Okay, now I'm going to give you a hefty assignment. In addition to this, for this particular video, the next section is the second set of front ridges and arrow patterns. This would be rows 26 through 33, which simply say to repeat rows, you guessed it, 2 through 9 one more time. So after this row that we've ended with here, I'm not going to demonstrate this because I've done this in detail on video number 1. If you need the extra video help, feel free to go back and watch the first video. It will be exactly the same except that you're working on, this row that was worked to discontinue the popcorn stitch. Okay, make sure you can keep the same medium size or J or 10 size hook. So you're going to go back and you're going to work the low front ridge, which would be row 2, all the way through row 9 again. And then once you complete that, you can go on to video number 3. Okay, talk to you later, guys. Bye-bye.